Hey everyone, I'm Everybody Fighter, and this is another card today video. The Primordial Dragons were finally revealed. I mean, we got a card a few weeks ago that's like their searcher, but this is the monster and other monsters that go with it, so let's just get into that. Primitive Giant Dragon, Big Bang Dragon, is a size 3 Primitive Dragon with 20,000 power, 10,000 defense, and 4 crit. You can not call monsters other than Primitive Dragons when you have this card in the field. You can pay 3 gauge and put the top card of your card into Soul to call it, and this card's ability only cannot be nulled. Souls cannot be dropped by opponent's card effect. If you have an undecided 0 Primitive Dragon in the field, this card cannot be destroyed with Penetrate, Soul Guard, and Lifelink of Lose. So right off the bat, yeah, Lifelink Lose is always scary to see, but of course, Flow of Life does exist to prevent your Lifelink Lose from happening. What's interesting is that the card already comes with the Can't Be Nulled, which is good since, you know, this card is obviously your ace of the deck. You want to call this in the center with this 10,000 defense, and if you call other sides your Primitive Dragons, the card can't be destroyed, so obviously you need like a formation with at least one size 0 Primitive Dragon on your field, and you can't call anything else other than Primitive Dragon, so you kind of have to give it what you got. Otherwise, I think this is an interesting card, but it kind of feels like it needs the support of the other monsters, which I will get into right now. So the first one is Primitive Left Hand Leftist, original name I know. It's a size 0 Primitive Dragon, 10,000 power, 1,000 defense, and a crit of 2. And you can't call this card unless you have Big Bang Dragon on the field. You're going to call it to the left. You put the top 3 cards you attack in the soul. There is no other call cost. And when this card attack destroys a card on the opponent's field, and also has triple attack, so you can get 3 cards out of the way at once. And of course, your card attacks a bunch of times too, so it's all in all a pretty good card. Of course, it is necessary for Big Bang Dragon to not be destroyed, so of course you want to play this card. The next card is Primitive Right Hand Rightus. You can only call it to the right instead of left. Same call cost, and when this card attacks, you deal 1 damage to your opponent, triple attack and soul guard, so all in all, you kind of get how the formation works. You call the Big Bang Dragon, then you call your left and your right, and then you kind of overwhelm your opponent like that. Kind of feels like a deck that OTKs more than defends itself, but it can defend itself if you want it to, but I'd rather just OTK with this. So my first impression of Primitive Dragons is that it's interesting. Honestly, it is. It is clearly a deck that kind of functions to heavily OTK, and we're going back to the good old ancient world size 3 Ham Lords, which I enjoy. But it kind of feels like there are glaring flaws to the formation. Kind of feels like, well, obviously Big Bang Dragon can still be returned to your hand, which kind of just screws it over completely, and of course you get hit with a lifelink lose, you lose. So I feel like there's definitely like a high risk, high reward kind of deal. Definitely, I feel like I enjoyed this more than Max Dragons at the very least, but there are certainly decks that can counter this. I remember I was talking about it with people, they said Magic Roll definitely counters this deck, and of course Metal definitely counters this deck too. Of course you call it to the left or right, your cards can be destroyed and then you're screwed, so kind of works like that. Either way, I'm Everybody Fighter, and I will see you later.